Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very, 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 very special edition of Take a Sip. We are waiting on a very special guest. I'm sure if you guys follow me on Twitter, you guys have seen who we're bringing in today, but I am very excited to talk to you guys today about some Texas football. This is only our third week out here, and we're already making some waves, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're already up here in the comment section, go ahead and drop a like on the video. As my guy Steven likes to say, that's your attendance. Go ahead and drop a like on the video. It shows this video to more people. Give us the support, you know what I mean, that we give this Texas Longhorns football program. It has been a good season. I'll say it's been a good season. I will stand on that. I will be solid on that. And I appreciate every single one of you guys for making this opportunity possible. Thank you so very much. And before we start today, I do want to give a big shout out to the sponsor of this video, the sponsor of all my videos. Honestly, this would not be possible without them. RogueShop.com. You guys can use promo code TakeASip25 for 25% off. Ladies and gentlemen, these guys have CBD oil, CBD topicals, CBD and THC edibles, mushroom spray kits. Mushroom spray kits. I don't even know what that does, but in my opinion, I imagine like a tie-dye shirt going absolutely crazy. I don't know. That's just what I imagine. But they have a bunch of stuff that can help you out through your day, make life a little bit easier, take that stress and anxiety off of you. If you're watching a Kansas versus Kansas State football game, because your football team put you in a position where you have to care about a game like that, they're a perfect place to go shop. RogueShop.com. Like I said, promo code TakeASip25 for 25% off. You guys go check them out. They have been amazing to us over here on Orangebloods, and you know, it's gonna be a good show tonight. It's gonna be a very good show tonight. We are waiting on a very special guest. If you guys don't know, we are having a very special guest. If you guys are aware, you know, he's coming. He's on the way. We got, you know, he's a superstar. We got to give him his time, you know, to pull up to. But before we get to him, I do want to talk a little bit about what has happened today. It's been pretty wild. The portal madness has hit. I want to give you guys an opportunity to go ahead and talk to me about what you guys think. This is an open space for Texas Longhorns fan. It's gonna be a good time. Actually, I think we have him here. I was gonna go into the portal talk, but hey, it looks like we got the man, the myth, the legend here. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and give an introduction to this man. An introduction to a man that needs no introduction. He is a Heisman winner, the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. The most impressive thing to me, the man ran a sub 13.5 110-meter dash over hurdles in high school. That's insane. That's good enough to qualify almost qualify for the Olympics nowadays. The man nearly beat the national record in the 300-meter hurdles. He beat my Longhorns the week after Thanksgiving in 2011, and then he ruined my Thanksgiving in 2012 whenever he beat my Dallas Cowboys. And now, more than anything, he is one of the best analysts in the sport of football. Ladies and gentlemen, Robert Griffin III. You like that intro, don't you? Don't you?
I gotta take you with me everywhere. That was a great intro.
Hey, I'm a Bruce Buffer disciple.
Pay attention. He's gonna be a star.
I appreciate it, man. Honestly, I'm so excited to have you here. I got to link with you for the very first time in Oregon earlier this year, talking some track and field. That's why I had to bring up the track and field numbers. You know, sub 13.5 in high school. Now, people don't talk about that enough. That to me, as a real track nut, that's more impressive than the whole football career. I'll be honest with you. Sub 13.5 is a crazy time. But I did get to link with you in Oregon, and I did want to go ahead and start off the show because I have to, Robert. I'm so sorry. I have to start off the show like this. Can we go ahead and run that clip, Blake? I got to go ahead and run that clip. We're coming for y'all this year.
Oh, wow.
UT's coming for y'all this year.
Straight with the heat.
Yeah, we're coming for y'all this year.
Okay, you got Sark, great play call like we were talking about, right?
Yeah.
You got the best running back in the country, Bijan Robinson. You guys have the talent. They just got to get it done. Yeah. All these 5 stars, man, y'all should be like #1 in the country.
We had to start it off there. I'm sorry. You were at the game. You got to call the game. You got to see Texas and Baylor. I'm not going to lie. A lot of Texas fans were saying, oh, you're so biased. I thought you did phenomenal on commentary. I'll be honest with you. You did great. But we did come for y'all this year. Unfortunately, the rest of the Big 12 came for both of us. Yeah. So I wanted to get your opinions on Baylor and Texas' seasons this year. What went right? What went wrong for both of these teams, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, at Nationals, and you know, you went straight with the video. that was funny. But reigning Big 12 champs, and I kind of talked about this on Longhorn Network before the game. It's kind of doing this, and in Texas at 8-4 afterwards. They were making the right steps to be that top tier program, and honestly, when you go back and you look, I laugh at all your videos that you talk about Texas fans, Alabama game, but you guys lost. So in those four losses, and that's why after the game statement I made at the end of the game, Kieran, was that you guys should try to get beat. Now my point there is that Bijan's, they don't want to get that wear and tear on their body all the way through college. Hey, that a collective can put together a path back for you guys. I think that'll be that progress to kind of being in that national champion, because all those five stars that we were talking about and you going up this year. They started playing at a high level. You guys don't just have 5-star football players. The workings of a 5-star culture. So I thought it's funny you said that some Texas fans, a bunch of Baylor fans, that said I was biased. Towards Texas. End of the day,
you can never win.
If Kieran, if your team is doing, talk great about your team. If they're not doing great, it's tough to talk about them. We like to hype up the guys that are doing. Bijan was incredible, and you guys played really well.
So Rob, we are having a little bit of issues with your mic. Is there a way you could do it without the AirPods? Maybe. I think we're just having a little bit. Yeah. Or you could just use the microphone for like your computer. I'm not sure, but I heard what he was saying a whole lot more clearly. I think we're just having some more audio issues. But I think one of his main points was he was talking about getting Bijan Robinson back, whether it's doing it with an NIL collective, throwing a bunch of money at him. I honestly, I mean, who wouldn't want to have one of the best running backs in recent memory in college football back in the burnt orange next year? I think it would make us a national title contender, like you said. I think that's where things get a little bit interesting for us next year. I mean, that's also where things get a little interesting with NIL. NIL wasn't around whenever you were back in college. You know what I mean? Who knows? Maybe you could have stayed another year at Baylor. You know what I mean? Y'all could have been a real problem if they were throwing you some serious nyash. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if NIL was around when I saw a lot of guys do more, 4 or 5 years in college as opposed to trying to leave. But I'm happy for the guys now. NIL is a great thing. NIL and the transfer portal kind of shift all of the power back towards the player. They can go get money opportunities using their name, image, and likeness. I think that's a great thing. University of the student athletes as much. And I know, like, the quarterback's going to make more than your third. But at the end of the day, it's that quarterback's job to take care of his guys. So I love it. He is the best back in the country. I've said it on the telecast. I do think he should be in New York for the Heisman. I was watching the game, and I'm like, man, if they just had one less loss, Bijan would be in that thing. I was just like, man, the way he played, definitely should be in New York. The Heisman is the favorite. And you got Max Duggan, as the second guy, in my opinion. So watch it. But if you guys can get him back, it'll probably take a little more than 6 to 7 million. There's some NIL opportunities out there for Bijan and all the like.
Yeah, no, I think honestly, if we in my opinion, if we give him 25 carries against TCU and not 12, I think he's in New York right now, because I think you end up finding something that works in that game. I think we kind of abandoned the run game. I get why we were getting obliterated in the middle of the line of scrimmage, but it happens. It is what it is. I do want to talk a little bit about you talked earlier about like the improvement that Texas is making. What improvements have you seen from Steve Sarkeesian in year 2, and what improvements do you think he needs to continue making to get this team to a national championship level?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, Sark understands that going into games, it could be capiche, especially being there at Texas. The expectations. What people got a little confused about with Sark's offense is they think that it's a pass-happy offense. But if he was in Atlanta, and obviously what he did with Alabama, they're run-first. They run to set up the play action and throw off of that. That's why Mac Jones was so successful. John gets rolling. The offense seems to do better. They just have to stop false starts was a big thing in this game against Baylor. When you guys is starting right, things just started rolling downhill a little bit in the turnover area. But I'm gonna tell you right, you got to make is what to do with Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning coming in. That's the biggest. Figure out how that's going to go. Yeah. Some people think Arch should come in and sit. Quinn kind of struggle. You know, whatever they end up doing is going to really determine the trajectory of the. That was my take. I didn't say it during the game because you know we were trying to keep it what it is, but with the ball game on the horizon, that's a huge decision for you guys.
No, and this is why you're so good at your job. That's literally the next thing that I was going to talk about. Literally, I was going to talk about Quinn Ewers. I have it there. And because you are a quarterback that not only won a Heisman, played at a very high level in college football, but also you showed incredible amounts of improvement in your downfield passing game from your freshman to sophomore to junior to senior year. And I'll tell you what my take has been. My take, very first show I came on here, I told everyone, look, I think Quinn Ewers is young. I think he's had 9 months in the system of real football, and I think going from 1 install to 2 installs is a completely different thing. So I wanted to get your opinion on this from a college quarterback that has had enormous, like the highest of the highs that you can go in college football for a quarterback. What is the growth like? I guess my question is, how much more do you understand the system in year 2 compared to year 1 whenever you're just getting into that rhythm of college football?
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy to grow. For me personally, like that's why I call the games the way that I call them. You never really a quarterback because he missed a read or he missed a throw. I'll tell you why he missed the throw. I'll tell you what he can do to say, hey, close the book on this guy. He's 19 years old and he just can't play. It's not right. I know for myself, if you just look at my track record throughout college, I came into college. I was running for 100 yards a game consistently. Sometimes running for more, and I kind of took a step back my second year and looked at it and said, man, that's not going to help me get to the continue to run and be prolific there because that's a natural skill that God gave me. But I'm going to improve my pass on the playbook, reading the defenses, getting your rhythm and timing. And for Quinn, he just was out of rhythm. I think of playing quarterback like you're dancing in the ballroom. When you're on his toes, everything seems to fly easy. Throwing the ball is easy. Getting on track is easy. Jumping on some bunions, right? They start to go helter skelter. And that's what happened for Quinn. Be perfect. And when I talked to Sark and I talked to offensive coordinator Kyle Flood, you got to be perfect, man. Don't worry about Arch Manning coming here. Hand the ball off to Bijan. Hand it off to Rowe. We get those big plays down the field. Hit them. Give your guys an opportunity. I thought but ultimately, I think it's probably best for Arch to give Quinn an opportunity to get that second year under his belt. You'll see extreme growth and improvement. There's never a problem with turning it over to the Manning, right? Yeah. That's the best case scenario. Similar to what Harbaugh did with Cade McNamara and J.J. McCarthy this year.
No, definitely. I mean, I do think so my take on the Arch Manning coming in has been Arch Manning's coming in. He's extremely talented. I have no questions about a Manning being able to grasp a system. I'll be honest with you. I have if I was ever to have more faith in a quarterback being able to grasp an offensive system, it's not in anywhere else. Like it's all in Arch Manning there. And I think this offseason and our success next year is going to completely ride on Quinn Ewers' development. And I think Sarkeesian knows this. I think him going out there and getting Quinn Ewers this past offseason kind of showed this is his guy. This is who he wants to ride with. So I guess my question to you would be, what adjustments can Quinn Ewers make this offseason? by himself. Whenever he's not over there with it, like, can you improve on your reads? Can you improve picking up the speed of the game when you're not really I understand you can't replicate live reps, but can you improve on your reads? Can you improve on that downfield accuracy? Is that time with his wide receivers? You know, what does that look like for him this offseason?
I'm gonna be honest with you, brother. Quinn's got to work on his body. That's the guy to do. We watched him throughout the year. He's a Joe Dirt type of mullet. Kind of just rolls out there. Looks like he just spit some tobacco. Right? Yes. I feel that's just the way that he is. That's his bravado. Mm-hmm. There was some reports coming out of Ohio State tearing it up on the football field. So I was impressed with him coming from that situation to tell well enough to have you guys go to 8-4 season. And you guys, I heard you say that Alabama if he played the entire game. So first and foremost, it's him working on his body. You got to make sure that when you look the part, you don't got to look like Hercules or Superman. Have a keg of 6 down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and then the second thing is just understanding the personnel around him. Hey, how does this? He's running vertical. If I got an option route outside, what is he going to do if the gonna sit it down and I'm going to be high percentage and get it to him on his outside shoulder on a stop route? Or is he going to take the appropriate throw to give him a chance to make a play? Yeah. I think that's the biggest step for him. So it's not as much boom and bust, right? He's either hitting the big play or he's getting hit. You got to make sure he manages that better so he can go out and play more confident.
Yeah, and I think that's the main thing with Quinn right now is just it's also Texas too. So everybody has this crazy expectation. We see the recruiting ranking. We see the talent around him. He got the number 1 returning wide receiver in the Big 12 coming back, and he also got the number 1 running back in the country in his backfield. Everyone expects him to go out there and light things up. And I think there was struggles on his side, but also I think that's where Steve Sarkeesian needs to be a little better, if I'm being honest with you, in terms of maybe not giving him the toughest things to do. I think it was downfield shot after downfield shot after downfield shot, and it was just he was not getting them, or he just wasn't coming off of that read in the first place. To me, that was like your first reads, that deep shot to Xavier Worthy. You're just forcing it, like you're like, hey, I got an all-world arm. I'm gonna make this happen some way, you know. I think that's what you saw later on though in the season. Steve Sarkeesian in the game that you called this past week ran the ball. I think it was 24 consecutive times to close out that football game, and they could not stop it. It was a really solid performance from our offensive line and from Bijan Robinson in that game. I did want to talk to you though, however. Speaking of Bijan Robinson, we were talking about NIL a little bit earlier. New college football, what it is now, the transfer portal, NIL. Today, Texas, we've seen 7 kids hit the transfer portal. I want to know, what would the transfer portal look like for you back in the day? You know what I mean? Maybe you want to play for a national championship and you want to head a little bit south to Austin. You know what I mean? Who knows? Who knows? Back in 2012, you could have done something with that with the team that we had.
Yeah, first I want to go back to that last point about Quinn. They did tell us in our meetings leading up to that game against Baylor was that Quinn, because tries to make every impossible throw known to man. So prove and just understand that, hey, if 1 is there, but it's going to take a Hall of Fame throw to 2 and 3 might be wide open. Mm-hmm. You know, he's got to understand that part of his. But with the transfer portal, it's been told many times, but the story is after my freshman year, Zach Brown approached me at the middle of the field. We played against Texas. We went into halftime. They were kind of shocked because Baylor wasn't very good, and we lost 42-20. So it is what it is. I'm not holding that pain. I'm just saying.
I remember that game. Yeah, Colt McCoy busted y'all. Yeah, Colt McCoy went out there and kind of gave it to y'all.
He busted our head on that one. So Matt said, man, we really missed the ball on this one. You can come to Texas anytime you want. I obviously didn't transfer back then. I would have had to sit out a year and whatnot. But it's those kinds that the portal was the way it is today. Back then, you would have seen more players jump ships. And maybe this running tradition of Texas missing out on all these big-time quarterbacks, Johnny Manziel, the list goes on and on.
Jalen Hurts, all these guys, Texas at some point, even if they went somewhere else and showed some success. Power that Texas football and Longhorn football has about it. You guys have your own network, right? Just certain alumni base that is really supportive of the program. The back then, but I know I told my coach at the time, Mark Browse, what happened. Big F-bomb to Mac Brown. Stay with this quarterback. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. I have a question a little bit later about Mac Brown and your whole recruitment in general. It's gonna be a little rapid fire question, but yeah, I mean, I think what we're looking at in the transfer portal nowadays is just like these players are so good at these smaller brand schools, and now it's especially I think they really made it the wild west whenever they took away the like you don't have to sit out a year, because now Jordan Addison's like, yo, I'm a Blitnikoff Award winner, but I'm playing at Pitt. And my quarterbacks are going in the first round. Deuces. I'm out. I'm gonna go play for the Heisman winner next year in Los Angeles, California, and I'm gonna make a smooth 7 figures while doing it too. Like it's a different game nowadays. So I mean, I think whenever you couple those two in, it makes some chaos happen. But I also wanted to get your thoughts with all of these new changes in college football in the next 2 years. In my opinion, it's gonna look completely different. I think you're gonna have the birth of these super conferences. Texas is going to the SEC. I want to know just straight up from you. Do you think this is a right move? Do you think this is a smart move for the Texas Longhorns to go to the SEC?
Move. I think the smart move would have been to stay in the Big 12, continue this trajectory and trying to own the Big 12. The move to the and of all my years, in college and since I've been pro and now, Texas has never wanted for money. So that's what I move from that standpoint. But I think Texas didn't want to get locked out of what potential super conference in the SEC. And it's kind of to your point, there have been some rumblings of becomes basically 2 or 3 super conferences that really football. And, that is alarming because you don't want to like get rid of it with USC and UCLA going over to the Big Ten. It's just like, man, who would have ever thought that Penn State in the snow would be a conference game?
Yeah,
right?
it's crazy.
You would never do it. The other point you made about the transfer portal, this is more about coaching because it lied to as easily as they did back when I was coming out. A coach would come to you and quarterback, you get into camp, 3 weeks into camp, you're playing cornerback. And then or the next year you're playing linebacker, who knows? Yeah. And you don't have the opportunity to get somewhere where you can play the position that you were promised. And these coaches also have to be better because now at any given time, they can just hop up and say, you know what? Such and such is telling me through a little birdie, right, that I can make 7 figures. I'm going to go ahead and go to the portal. There's so many opportunities for the players to kind of create those checks, the coaches to be better coaches and better people. I think that's a dynamic about because the coaches don't want that to happen. They want to have the control over the players and basically go anywhere. I own you. You do what I tell you to do or else. Now they have to build relationships with these players fit everybody in the long run.
Yeah, and to me, that's why NIL is so good in my opinion. It puts the power back in the players' hands, and I'm all for it. I think that's why there was a lot of pushback on it early on. It's just like, well, these kids are. I'm like, bro, these kids have been making millions of dollars for these programs for years and years and years. I can't imagine how much Robert Griffin III would have made with that number 10 jersey. I might have got one, and I'm a Texas fan. Like, what are we talking about? You telling me this dude's got one arm sleeve with a glove? I mean, you were swagged out in college. I'll be honest with you. But I do have one more question before we go to rapid fire. The playoff. I do want your opinion on this because this has been a take that I've had, not Texas related, but say TCU or USC loses. Who do you believe should get that 4th spot, Bama or Ohio State?
Jesus. Okay, so first of all, I have to say if they'll be in. The top 3 should be in no matter what happens. Georgia, Michigan, If USC loses, I think Ohio State should get that spot, and that's not thought right now because of Alabama. We know the committee loves Alabama. Jay in the college football playoff, and there's Nick Saban. So what people have to understand doesn't look at record. They don't just look at your conference. They also look at your star power. Heisman Trophy winner last year. That's star power. Nick Saban, arguably the greatest college coach, star power. And then you bring in the Crimson Tide and the fan base. That will really try to put them in there at that number 4 spot. The only problem this year is one loss, and they have the same level of star power. C.J. Stroud's not a Heisman winner, but either Ryan Day is not Nick Saban, but he's a great coach. They got dynamic playmakers all over the field. He gets that spot if USC loses. If USC wins and TCU wins, it's the committee just put out tonight.
Yeah, they're all in. My twin at USC. A lot of the fan base, a lot of my followers on Twitter, they love telling me that I look like Caleb Williams, especially last year. And I live out here in LA, so they all think I switched up. Whenever I tweet negatively about my team, they're like, "Just go root for USC." Like, man, I do enjoy watching them play. I enjoy watching Lincoln Riley coach against Pac-12 teams and not mine in Dallas every year. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's go ahead and go to rapid fire. We've been kind of talking about this a little bit too, but I want to know. First and foremost, straight up, I wasn't around. I wasn't following the recruiting scene. I was born in 98. In 08, I wasn't following the recruiting scene. Did Mac Brown offer you a scholarship at safety? I don't know. I just want to know. Because that's a common thing.
He did not offer me at safety. They offered me as an athlete. Talked to me about receiver and or safety, and I politely told them, thank you. And they literally came to my high school, offered that on the spot. I said no, walked out, pulled the scholarship, and that was the end of it.
Wow. That's something, man. That's so. I'll tell you what. Look, because I think that's like growing up. That's been the meme. It's like Mac Brown offered Johnny Manziel and Robert Griffin III at safety. Mac Brown offered Andrew Luck at safety. No, I'm playing. He didn't say that, but that's essentially what I heard all throughout my childhood. It was just like, well, Mac Brown's only going to offer these talented quarterbacks at safety. Freaking JT Barrett, all of them. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I do want to ask you more rapid fire questions though. Favorite commentary moment this season: housing a burrito in the booth, or getting a chance to say there's an orgy in the end zone with that Michigan game?
The burrito was fun. It'll change your life one way or when you're eating it from the taste or when it comes out. But the orgy in the end zone, that's one. Unanticipated. Didn't know that Alex Orgy was going to play in the red zone late in the game. Mm-hmm. I kind of played around with it for a little bit. Like, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to. At the end of the day, like Michigan fans are still tweeting me to this day. Yeah. Oh, my God. Orgy call of the year. It's like. But guess what? There ain't going to be no more orgies in the this job.
Yeah, no, I feel you. That one, I think in Washington, you said premature snapulation. That one had me in shambles. Some fun ones here. Best running back in the country. Who is it?
Bijan Robinson. Hands
okay,
down.
great. There we go. Greatest college football team of all time.
It's got to be one of those Miami teams. Ray Lewis, Michael Irvin, Ed Reed.
Greatest college football team of all time from 2004 to 2006.
It's got to be my man VY.
There we go. Thank you. That was the right answer for the jump, RG3. I'll be honest with you. That was the right answer. Speaking of your man VY, that's the last rapid fire question. Who wins in a 100-meter sprint, you or prime Vince Young?
Oh, have you seen Vince Young run?
You're saying VY?
Have you seen Vince Young run?
Yes, 100%.
There's a difference in track speed and football speed.
I'll be honest with you, Rob.
VY is fast quarterback in the history of the NFL that's ever been faster than your boy sitting right here. So.
Hey, I'm just saying, 6'5", them strides. I think he starts catching you later on. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
VY. Ask Vince.
I'll have to ask Vince one day. 100%. We're gonna get Vince on the show. We're gonna have to ask Vince who would win in a 100-meter, and then we can get both of y'all just old out there doing it.
Old.
Just nah, you're not that old. You're not that old. I'm kidding. I do want to thank you though very much for being on the show. It has been a pleasure. Obviously, been a great season for you in the commentary booth. You've been absolutely outstanding. You and Mr. Jones have done a phenomenal job. Are you guys calling any of the conference championship games?
Yeah, so we're gonna no conference championship game. I'll be in studio on Sunday for the college football selection, where they unveil where everybody's going and all the bowl games. And then not sure when New Year's Six bowl game sometime in late December, early January. After that, the college football season's slowing down now. It's all the award shows, games. So it's been a great year. Had a lot of fun. Mark Jones has been phenomenal. Yeah. And really, I watch you a lot. Ever since we met in Oregon, I just knew, like, one day somebody, you're funny, man. You're not just funny, you're also knowledgeable, and you bring energy to what sounds a lot like what I'm doing right now. So I look forward to keeping up with you, brother. And
hey, man, I appreciate it. That means a lot to me, honestly. That means a whole lot to me. You're one of the GOATs out there, you know what I mean? So I do appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I can't state it enough how much this means to me. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for being on here. We'll be watching you. We will be rooting for you. We will not be rooting for your Baylor Bears, though. I have to keep it a buck. We're just not doing that. It's not happening. But I appreciate you for being on. RG3, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Appreciate you, brother. God bless.
God bless, man. What a guy, man. What a guy. Dude, I'm freaking out. Honestly, that's pretty crazy. Hearing Robert Griffin III. I'm kind of, reeling it in, kind of trying to come back together here. I do want to open up the chat for some questions here. I do know he had a couple of audio issues. I was capable of picking it all up. I hope you guys were. It was just like a little bit more of an intent listen, like if you were driving a car maybe while playing this when you shouldn't have. It probably wasn't the best, but I do want to open up the chat for some questions. And I do want to talk about the transfer portal today. So the Longhorns lost 7 players to the transfer portal today. Hudson Card, Troy O'Meara, Andre Carrick, Prince Dorba, Derek Harris Jr., J.D. Coffey, and Jameer Johnson. I want to go through each and every one of these guys and have a conversation with you about them. And I think, obviously, the first one that we got to talk about is Hudson Card. So if you guys have any opinions on this, go ahead and drop them in the chat. I see some slander already from my Dallas. No, Houston greater than Dallas talent, not going to happen this year. Let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know what you guys think about the playoffs this year, this week too, because there's some really good games going on. You got DeSoto versus Harker Heights. I'm excited to watch. Duncanville versus Westfield, and best believe, ladies and gentlemen, if Duncanville handles Westfield like I think we will, I will be on here next week talking that smack. I will be here talking that smack. Anyway. Yeah, let's get to talking about this though. The portal entries, Hudson Card. Mike saying, why should Card not leave? I honestly believe Hudson Card, it's probably just the best for him to leave. I think he can go start at another pretty solid Power 5 program. The improvement that he's shown this year has been absolutely amazing, just outstanding. He did a great job this year. I mean, he completely changed the narrative on him as well. Can we acknowledge that? I think we should acknowledge that. The dude completely changed the narrative on himself. Last year after Arkansas, you could have sworn that this was Garrett Gilbert 2.0 and nobody ever wanted to see him step on the football field again. And this year he went out there, he improved week to week. And he hasn't even started a double-digit amount of games at Texas in his 3 years here. And he's improved time in and time out. And I think someone else is going to get a really solid quarterback with him. So very proud of him. Very proud of him. Katie at Atascocita. No, goodness gracious. We got to stop. We got to stop with the Dallas versus Houston stuff, man. Goodness gracious. It's just not happening. It's not happening. I could really talk my smack here. But I'm not. I'm not going to. Another portal entry, Troy O'Meara. Shout out to Troy O'Meara. He has been, I mean, it's unfortunate the injuries that he had sustained. This was his 3rd year on campus. He finally had a healthy season, but we didn't get to see much of him. I hope that kid gets to go somewhere and play at a really high level because he is a damn good football player. And I think he's going to do things for another program that I don't think he was really schematically capable of doing in Steve Sarkeesian's offense. He was committed to playing Tom Herman's offense, which was more of like a basketball on grass type thing. And you know, I think he's going to do a whole lot better at another program when he gets his opportunity. Oh, goodness gracious. All right. Next portal entry that we have here, Andre Carrick, offensive lineman. He was great in like the tight end, the big package that we ran. I think that dude's a starting offensive lineman at another Power 5 program. I really think he is. I think you just have a future first, I think a future top 5 pick in Kelvin Banks playing at left tackle. And man, it's a tough loss, but also at the same time, you brought in all of these kids behind him, and you got a bunch of guys that Kyle Flood loves, the big human beings. So it is what it is. Prince Dorba, Derek Harris Jr., the two guys off the edge. I think it's just more of all of these guys that are leaving, none of them were recruited by this coaching staff. And I think that's the one thing that really stands out to me. They're all year 3 guys. Derek Harris in this case is actually a year 2 guy, but he was committed before. JD Coffey, same thing. I think you're starting to see the roster turnover that Steve Sarkeesian wants. And he's going to get a roster full of his guys, which is why I think we need to give him more time. Even if he has a rough season next year, I'm all for giving Steve Sarkeesian as much time as possible. Let's go ahead and get to these comments, though. I want to involve you guys in the show. I don't want to just sit here and talk to myself the whole time. I want to be able to get in a little friendly banter. I see Trey's up in here from Too Cold University. I do have to call them Too Cold University. They did go 12-0. Oh, man. I heard this take the other day, and I wanted to get you guys' opinion on it. Max Duggan, with a really solid performance this weekend and a really bad performance by Caleb Williams, could possibly win the Heisman Trophy. That's what I was told. Now, I don't believe it. I believe if Max Duggan won the Heisman Trophy, that would be the worst Heisman Trophy winner in the history of the award. Just being honest. That's nothing against Max Duggan. He's had an amazing year. I'm just being honest. But am I wrong? Am I wrong for saying that? Am I out of pocket? Am I out of line for saying that? I'm sorry. If Max Duggan wins the Heisman, bro, what are we doing? What are we doing, Trey? What's going on, man? What's going on? Let's be honest. Yeah. Goodness gracious. There's another really good game going on this weekend. I think Geyer's playing Southlake. I think that game's going on. That's going to be a really good game. Duggan for Heisman, completely out of pocket. Thank you. I'm not smoking crack. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Max Duggan for Heisman is insane. Oh my goodness. Trey said TCU going 6-6 here. Yes, he did. Yes, I really don't want to hear from Trey. TCU fans didn't even expect this level of success, so don't let them talk to you. Okay? Yes, they beat us, but it is what it is. Them Riley bloodlines at OC making Max Duggan look draftable. It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. Yeah. Can y'all imagine? I'm going to paint the picture for y'all, okay? There is a Nissan commercial during halftime of a very big college football game. You see Bryce Young tossing a football in the backyard. You see you see Derrick Henry juking somebody out. You see Tim Tebow chopping it up with Barry Sanders. And then all of a sudden, Max Duggan pulls up in a Nissan Versa. Like, what are we doing, bro? What are we doing? Can you imagine? I'd turn the TV off. I would turn the TV off so quick. So quick. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay. This is actually a good point you pull up here, Nash. Because Hudson Card's hitting the transfer portal now, I think it's very safe to assume, well, not even safe to assume, but he's not going to be playing in the bowl game. So if we do end up handling a team or if the game's not close, you could very honestly see Malik Murphy in this game. And I'm very excited at the prospect of that. I really am. I would love to see Malik Murphy get some game reps heading into the spring. And I love what Steve Sarkeesian said in the press conference yesterday, essentially saying like, yo, look, these bowl practices for the first half are going to be just like spring. We are building towards the spring. We want to move on to next year. That's what we should use this for. And then the second half is going to be a more game prep type practices. But that's an extra 15 practices for Malik Murphy. That's an extra 15 practices for Quinn Ewers. People forget Malik and Quinn have had just as much time in this system. Like, it is what it is. Yeah, honestly, Rogue Shop, I don't understand why we didn't see him against Kansas either. I would have loved to see Malik Murphy against Kansas, especially later on in that game. But I think we were just kind of stuck to the ground game there. We brought in Hudson Card at the very end of the game. But, it is what it is. And also, just before I move on, another shout out to our sponsor, RogueShop.com. Really questioning why we didn't see Malik Murphy in Kansas. I wish I would have got to see Malik Murphy against Kansas. That would have made me feel a whole lot better. Just like RogueShop.com's products. And if you use promo code TakeASip25, you can get 25% off. It's a Texas home for illegal CBD and THC and more. They will ship it right to your crib. Right to your crib. Shout out to RogueShop.com. He's active in the community. He's a they are diehard. They are diehard Longhorns. Through and through. And I love to see that. It's awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, we really had RG3 on the show today. That was amazing. That was really, really cool. I think he had some really interesting takes. I was wondering what you guys thought about that too. I really think Vince Young would dust him in a 100-meter dash, though. I think he'd really catch up with him later on. It is what it is. It is what it is. Oh my goodness. Are we serious? Aaron Hampton decommitted? I don't know. Well, it's a day of attrition. It's at all levels, I guess. I do want to talk a little bit about recruiting though, because we haven't really talked recruiting on the show. It's just been mostly football, and now we're getting into recruiting season. I think there's a couple of big targets left on the board for us. The transfer portal is obviously going to be huge for us. There's an SEC wide receiver that Jeff Ketchum keeps referring to or mentioning. I know who it is, and I'll tell you right now. I don't know who it is. But yeah, I think recruiting is going to come down to a couple of more commitments. I think you have maybe 3 or 4 guys that you're still looking at adding to this class. It's a really solid class. And to get the updates that we've had over the past couple of days about Cedric Baxter, about Malik Muhammad, I think you're going to get a lot of guys that are locked into this class that are very talented that I thought were fringe guys, and we've managed to lock them down. And I think it really shows that like we're going to be the team that's building, rather than a team that's kind of stale. That 8-4 record that we have last season this past season going into next year, I think is good enough for these recruits to buy in to what Steve Sarkeesian is selling. Dude from Mizzou, yeah, you guys talking about Dominic Lovett. I think it might be him. It might be him. It might be someone else. It might be him. Might be. I don't know. I don't know if that's him, but it's not Evan Stewart. I know that much. But yeah, I think we're all hoping for Anthony Hill. Goodness gracious. Anthony Hill, I can't talk to you enough about what Anthony Hill would mean to this program. I think he steps in. I think everybody knows this. Anthony Hill's going to step into this program if he does commit to Texas and start next year. And I think he's going to be damn good doing it too, especially if he's an early enrollee. What are we talking about? The best inside linebacker prospect to come out of the state since I've been following recruiting, which started in like 2014, I believe. So almost the last 10 years, I think he's the best inside linebacker recruit in the state of Texas that I've seen, to be honest with you. I mean, you can't lose guys like that. He's generational for the state of Texas at inside linebacker, and there's a lot of reason for that too. I think the state of Texas really struggles developing inside linebackers because the guys that are that size and that athletic, they're usually playing quarterback or they're usually playing running back or they're doing something else. You know what I mean? So we will see. We will see. Malik Murphy on the sideline makes me sick. I think everyone's foaming at the mouth to see Malik Murphy in a football game. It hasn't happened yet, and I think everybody's like, man, we want to see it. We really want to see it. I don't know. I just want to see where he's at. And I think that's the main thing for Texas fans right now. I don't want to wait until the spring game because we haven't seen him yet. We haven't seen him drop back and throw a ball yet. Practices are shut off to the media, this and that. We didn't see him at the spring game last year because his ankle was still messed up from the state championship game. You haven't seen him in backup duty yet. You haven't seen him at all. At all. So I want to see what he's got. I think everybody wants to see what he's got. Because, man, there's going to be real questions that come from some stuff. If he shows up in that if he shows up in the bowl game and hits a deep shot off rip, everyone's going to be like, whoa, Now, Malik Murphy might actually push for this thing next year. You know what I mean? There's going to be questions, and that's what makes this thing fun. It'll be like Casey versus Colorado. Can you imagine if Malik Murphy comes into the game, goes 8 for 10, and throws 4 touchdowns? This fan base will be feral to see him play in the spring game. Like, it's going to be, oh my goodness. It just would be insane. I would love to see Harold Perkins slide into the portal. I think everyone would love to see that Harold Perkins slide into. I don't see that happening whatsoever, but I think that would take a generational bag. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I will say this too about Malik Murphy. I see a comment here from Jacob saying he looked closer to 6'7" than he did to 6'5". I've seen Malik Murphy in person. The dude is all of 6'6". He is huge. I'm 6'3". He is towering over me. I mean, that he's a big guy. He's a big guy. He fits the mold of like the Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence. Like, you're a huge quarterback with a huge arm. Like, he fits that stereotype perfectly. It's insane. Yeah, Harold Perkins ain't going anywhere. I'm so sorry to break it to you. That's just not gonna happen. Man. Oh, snap. Shaka Smart doing Baylor like that? Hold on. Also, shout out to Texas men's basketball, number 2 team in the country. We're a problem. A real problem. Shout out to Ron Holland, though, too. Duncanville. Heading over. AJ Johnson as well. From California. I got dirt on people in LSU. It might get me done. What? This man is like that caller on Paul Feinbaum's show, trying to get rid of Jimbo by any means necessary. Like, oh gosh, yeah, no, I don't know. The Harold Perkins thing is wild. Now, I will tell you this though. I do want to see Texas really attack the portal defensively. I don't want to get complacent. Even if we get back Tavondre Sweat, Jahdae Barron, and even Jalen Ford, I still think you need to go to the portal and try to get someone in that safety room, someone that really takes this team over the top. Never be complacent. I mean, you saw that with Alabama last year. It didn't really pay off with the Eli Ricks get, but also they had young corners. They had Terrion Arnold coming in. They had Kool-Aid McKinstry, who was there the year before, but they went up. They went out there and they got their guy. They got Eli Ricks. They got the number 1 graded corner coming into this season. So if that's what we can do at Texas, I think we have the money, we have the resources, and now the best thing about what Texas did this year defensively, we have the film. We have the film to look good on the field. Goodness gracious, to have the season that Jalen Ford did to pitch to Anthony Hill is exactly what I was asking for. It was exactly what I was asking for. Man, like, you can't ask for anything better than that. He committed to A&M, and the general consensus was, A&M's probably going to have a better defense than us. They're more talented. They have shown to have a better defense than us years prior. I think we had a better one this year. We were really good, really solid, especially in the front seven. We were elite in the front seven. Got a super chat from JR here. Take Jamon Tapp's step. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Take Jamon Tapp steps in over Gofu and starts at Buck next year. That's what I think. That's honestly what I think. I think you see Jamon Tapp start next year on that weak side. And I think the cool thing, if, say, Moro Ojomo comes back, right? You're going to have Barron. You'll have, say, Ojomo or Barron Sorrell on that strong side. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love what Barron does against the run. I love what Ojomo does against the run and rushing the passer. It's not quick. It's not bursty. It's not flashy. But at the same time, he does what he's supposed to do. So, I'm all for it. I think Jamon Tapp gets in the weight room. I think Jamon Tapp has the best moves out of anyone. And when I say moves, I mean like pass rushing moves of anyone in that room. Straight up, he does. And I think whenever you have him go into that room and do what he does, get the weight on him, do what he does, be explosive off the edge, hit spin move. He was hitting spin moves on ULM's left tackle earlier this season. And he was getting some pressure too. I'm all for Jamon Tapp. I think he has more upside as a pass rusher than anyone that's currently in that room. So Jamon Tapp next year. PK needs to be his guy. They need to be locked in this offseason. Yeah, I see Nino said development was key this year. It's exactly what the defense needed, not only for the players, but for the recruits to see as well. Exactly. Yeah, I want to see Ethan Burke develop as well. I think what this defense did this year, nothing shy of amazing. because my biggest concern coming into the season was you're not going to be able to recruit defensively if you can't show anything good defensively on the field. I feel like that's how so many teams get caught in this like deep rut of just like, I can't do anything because, okay, first of all, I don't have the play on the field to recruit the players. I don't have the scheme. I don't have the players to fit the scheme that I want to run. And now it's just a cycle. It's just a cycle of this guy can't do it. This guy can't do it. This guy can't do it because you're not getting the talent that can run the scheme. You're going to have to really develop some lower ranked guys. But now you're seeing Texas is capable of getting in the conversation for those good edges. Colton Vasek plays next year. I'm all for it. If he's an early enrollee, hits the strength and conditioning program, gets up to about 245, I think he has the best frame of any edge you have by far. He could play both sides by his sophomore season. I truly believe that. But yeah, I think in my opinion, the totem pole at the edges, it would go. Yeah, okay, the totem pole at the edges, I would say it's next season. I'd say at Jamon Tapp. On the weak side, I'd do Jamon Tapp, Colton Vasek, Ethan Burke. On the strong side, I would have Barron Sorrell, because he played last year, Jere Bledsoe, and then after that, Justice Finkley. But also, they might move Jere Bledsoe into the 3-tech. It is what it is. I think you're going to have so many options and so many bodies to throw at the problem that are young and developing and getting better. You're gonna be pretty solid. Oh, snap. I'm surprised we haven't gotten to this yet, too. Feisty Man has a good point here. Thoughts on Xavier staying? I'm not sure what that Instagram post meant. I'm not sure if you guys have seen it, but on Instagram, Xavier Worthy wiped all of his Texas stuff off. Then he wiped all of his pictures off. And now Xavier Worthy posted a picture with, like, heart hands in a Texas uniform with Texas gloves on, like, from a game. Don't know what that means. He's kind of alluding towards something. I believe he tweeted something alluding towards like the calm before the storm, something like that. Don't know what that means at all. I'm assuming that's a good sign. It would suck if it wasn't a good sign, but we will see. We will see. My take on players that are probably hitting the portal or not hitting the portal. If they weren't, I think they would come out and say, I'm not going to be transferring. I'm staying right where I'm at. Yeah, I think that's just the way that it is. I think if it was me, I'd be like, yo, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here. You know what I mean? Yeah. The subliminal messaging, like, oh, hinting I might stay, like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to start conspiracies or whatever, but like Evan Stort said, like, ag for life. Sure. A lot of people put in transfer, like a lot of people put in the little statement whenever they're transferring saying, like, I'll always be this for life. You know what I mean? I don't know. I have no clue, but I'm not stressed about it. I think this wide receiver room is going to look different next year anyway. I think you're talking to a couple of wide receivers in the portal. I think you're seeing attrition in the wide receiver room right now with Troy O'Meara. I think there's going to be more attrition throughout the rest of this year. We saw it last year in the spring. People forget Marcus Washington was on this team in the spring. Like, people forget that. Like, you had Quinn Ewers throwing to Dejon Harrison in the spring game. It's going to look different. It is going to look different. But yeah, I think the transfer portal is going to give more than it takes away this year. I'll put it that way. Yeah, JT Sanders is coming back. JT's not going anywhere. He at least shopping himself around. Worst thing we can do as a fan base if we want him to stay is to act like he's betraying us for trying to get a bag. Look, like RG3 was talking about earlier, coaches have to keep their promises, and players are capable of leaving or going or talking to other people if they want to. At the end of the day, like, I think Ketch said this last year, like, if you're a player of value on a good team, why not enter your name in the transfer portal? It's free agency. It really is, especially whenever you have your one. It's free agency. Like, if you're telling me I could go play for another elite program that's not going to halt my development and I'm going to make more money while doing it, I'm leaving. You know what I mean? Now, me personally, I have loyalty to the program. I'm a fan. I love the University of Texas. If I was in that position, I would stay. I wouldn't even be a question. But for these players, man, they're trying to get to the NFL. If that's their main goal, I'm not going to blame them for trying to get to the NFL and get as much money as possible. I'm just not. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Any chance Witt decides to come back? I don't think so. I think Jordan Whittington said before the season, he said it to homegirl Serenity Douglas. He was saying, like, I think this is going to be my last year playing football. I really believe him. I think this is going to be his last year playing football. So it is what it is. Isn't it an overstatement to say we're a better defensive team going forward over a team known for offense? I wouldn't say that. I still say you have more upside on the offensive side of the football because of Steve Sarkeesian's play calling and because you have more talent on that side, especially next year. You have more talent on that side than you do defensively. As good as the defense is playing, you have more expected draft picks on the offensive side of the ball. You still have a guy that should be a first rounder when he's done developing at quarterback. You have a 5-star, a borderline 5-star or 5-star, I don't know, whatever you want to say, running back coming in next year. Wide receiver, you're going to have some very talented wide receivers. You're going to have a 5-star wide receiver coming in. You have a 5-star tight end. You have 2 5-star offensive linemen. And I'm not even counting stars. You have guys that are putting it out there on film too. Kelvin Banks is one of the best offensive linemen in the country. So it is what it is. I think I got to stop saying it is what it is. But yeah, like Kelvin Banks is doing what he's supposed to be doing. So I don't think you're going to have a situation where you're looking at next year saying, oh, is this a defensive team? I think at the end of the day, we are still an offensive juggernaut when this team is operating the way that it should be. So we'll see. Christopher Jackson got a super chat here. He said, I say a lot of ridiculous things for fun. I appreciate your talent, and I'm happy OB brought you on. Shout out to Nino, Nash, Steve, and others for popping up and giving you support. Yo, I love the Texas content creation community. These guys are amazing, and I can't state it enough. I appreciate that so much. I can't state this enough. I am so appreciative for every single one of you guys. Every single one of you guys. Like, I just had a show with Robert Griffin III, for Christ's sake. I'm 24 years old, living in Los Angeles, living my damn dream, talking about college football with all of you guys here. This is such an awesome thing that we have going. And honestly, I can't wait to keep it going. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central, I'll be here talking to you guys about college football during the offseason, the ups, the downs, all over, whatever it is. I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to be talking ball with you guys. At the end of the day, it is what it is. I said it again, just to annoy myself even more. No, but yeah, shout out to Nash. A lot of people don't know that. Me and Nash, when Nash first met me, I made the video, like the One Shining Moment video, and Nash called me a Sooner. It was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I've been called a Sooner, a Trojan. I've even been called an Aggie. It's crazy. Yeah. Let's see some of these questions here. Keelan Robinson, do I think he can move to slot? No. I'm not sure if Keelan Robinson's going to keep playing football after the season. I don't know. I haven't talked to him. I have no clue what he's feeling, where he's at. But in my opinion, I think Keelan Robinson, he's a phenomenal football player. He's very explosive. I think he could get an opportunity if he wants to. But I'm not sure. I mean, the dude's, he loves music, and his music is solid too. So I think he's doing his own thing. Super chat here from JR. Where does Gillette play? I think at the Will. Ooh. I think man. That's a good question. I think in PK system, he likes doing a lot with the buck, but I think he's undersized for that position. If it's the 2021 Texas defense, I think he's definitely a buck where you're dropping him in a coverage if you can. I think Will is a good spot for him, but I think it's going to take time to get him ready there. You know, we'll see. Do you think Jalen Fortune win Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year? Yes, 100%. It's, to me, you lead your team in interceptions at the linebacker position. You have one of the best seasons that a Texas linebacker has had since Derek Johnson. He's been incredible this year. Led the team in tackles, interceptions. God, he leads them in a couple of more categories too. He has been incredible all year long. I hope he comes back. That would be amazing. But also, that kid's probably going to the draft. I don't know. That's just me. Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious. One less button on the shirt. I'll tell you what, Daniel. I will give you one less button on the shirt because I'm about to sign off here. But I appreciate you guys for being here. We did have RG3 on. If you guys get a chance to go back and watch it, it was a good time. We did have a little bit of audio issues, but I think when you rewatch it, you'll be able to get everything that he was saying through. Phenomenal guest, phenomenal opportunity. Like I said before, I appreciate every single one of you guys. This is such an amazing platform and opportunity, and I just love showing other people from outside like how great the Texas fan base is, how awesome we can be, how cool and supportive we can be. All the Texas content creators out there. Shout out to the guys over here at OB, the Unk, the Unk, Anwar Richardson. Make sure you guys check out his Drunk Uncle show tomorrow night. Overreaction Monday is always a very fun show to watch, especially after the weekend that that happens, you know. Oh man, this offseason it's going to be even more fun, guys. I can't wait to talk about transfer portal targets or guys that we get in the transfer portal or whatever comes the next couple of weeks. But I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you guys so much. For me, for Blake, for everybody that was a part of tonight, I appreciate you. And as always, hook 'em.